Hello and welcome back to Substream News. Unfortunately, recording from home today because the weather is atrocious. I went to a beautiful spot yesterday to make a video and the heavens opened. Had to escape by a motorbike. Well, today is a new day, but it's still raining, so here we are at home. Now, I want to tell you about our first story. It's an attack of the robots, but not quite as exciting as you might expect. In fact, in the US, robot vacuum cleaners are attacking their owners. Yes, that is today's leading story. Let's go. Yes, rude names, insults, even racial slurs, and pet terrorizing. These are all complaints being made by owners of the Chinese-made Ecovacs D-Bot X2. Hackers are taking control of their robots and using them to victimize their owners. Now, I did think this story was a little bit funny until I found out that these advanced vacuum cleaners, these smart vacuums, cost about $1,500. So not only are you being insulted by your own vacuum or Hoover, you're paying quite a large price to do it. Where there's a hacking, there's a cybersecurity researcher, and they have made comment and said they found a number of issues that can be abused to hack the robots via Bluetooth and surreptitiously switch on microphones and cameras remotely. Ooh, surreptitiously. Now, what was Ecovac's response? Well, they said users can rest assured they do not need to worry excessively about this. Excessively. So they can worry just a little bit. That's a little bit's allowed, permitted. It later changed its mind and said, yes, this is a problem, and introduced security patches and an upgrade, and there's also another upgrade coming soon. Then they denied that there had been any breach of any Ecovac systems. That's a bit of a paradox. I'm not quite sure how they've come to that conclusion, but considering the weak security, the bizarre comment of Ecovacs and the price range of $1,400, I think you might want to swerve these. Or, if you like to bring chaos into your lives, they are the perfect purchase. Let's move on to our next story. Now, if you've been following the whole AI revolution over the last year or so, you may know that the energy consumption of these AI data models is just enormous. It's so mind-numbingly huge, and that creates a big problem, and that's why Nvidia has become the third biggest company in the world. Is because there's a demand for processing power. Now, one side of that coin is to be an Nvidia and create more GPUs and microchips and all the hardware and software that's needed to provide more power to AI. The other side, which is this next story, is to find intelligent coding methods to reduce power consumption. And this is really vital. Now, the story is that there's a new technique in the AI world that can provide this huge AI energy consumption reduction, right? Now, bear with me because the name is Linear Complexity Multiplication LMUL, right? And it's a method that allegedly replaces energy-intensive floating point multiplications with simpler integer additions in AI computations. That means nothing to me. It might mean something to you. Now, it's quite a mathematical coding-based story, but it is quite interesting. The thing is, I don't want to go further into it because it's too technical. If you are interested in this topic, we always share our sources here at Substream News. You just have to go down to the video description and they'll all be there. While you're there, if you like our content, drop us a follow. Nice and easy. Let's move on. Are you familiar with the Internet Archive? It's this website. It was set up in the 90s to try and create an archive of the internet, right? It provides free access to millions of videos, books, audio files, websites, photos, data, loads of stuff. It has created this thing called the Wayback Machine that kind of captures a photo of the internet at different stages over time. So you could look at an older version of your website, in theory, if it was in the Internet Archive. Now, with all of that data, of course, there's a lot of personal data in there, names, addresses, emails, all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, the Internet Archive suffered a huge hack, and 31 million data sets of personal information has now been exposed. If you are an Internet Archive user, you want to make sure that you know what that means, right? And if you have been exposed, you need to change your passwords. The report says that usernames, emails, and encrypted passwords for all of their users were exposed. How did this happen? I can reveal it was a DDoS, that's a distributed denial of service attack. It's a very common way of hacking a website. Essentially, powerful hackers flood websites with far too much traffic and requests, and it crashes the website, makes it inaccessible, and creates a vulnerability that allows them to swoop in and do their naughty business. Now, there was a strange precursor to the hack. They actually think the hack happened earlier than when they discovered it, and I believe actually it was an Internet Archive user who performed the hack. And here's why. This strange message popped up on their website a week before the hack. It said, "Have you ever felt like the Internet Archive runs on sticks and is constantly on the verge of suffering a catastrophic security breach? It just happened. See 31 million of you on HIBP." End quote. Now, HIBP is Have I Been Pwned, which is owned, a website that checks if your data has been exposed through a breach. So you may want to go there and find out. Sorry to bring that bad news. Let's move on. Hi, this is a bit of a PSA. We have such a large American viewership base here. I want to say thank you to all of our American sub-streamers. This story, I guess, is particularly for you. After the big hurricane recently, hospitals in the US are struggling with demand, and there is a national emergency. There is a shortage of IV fluid. Now, there's not a lot you can do to help except for only really go to hospital if you absolutely need it, because those IV drips that are in short supply are really needed for the people who really need them, right? Now, I want to tell you a little bit about what happened. It's because Baxter International, which is the largest manufacturer of intravenous drips, they shut down their North Cove manufacturing plant because of Hurricane Helen. Now, that meant there's a shortage of supply, and they have asked the president of the FDA to allow hospitals and health systems to prepare their own IVs in the meantime. Fortunately, now it seems to be recovering, but it is still in a state of emergency. So just be aware, if you're going to hospitals, they might not have IV drips. Let's move on. Now, those who regularly watch our videos will remember that I make the point that we really try to stay out of politics here at Substream News. It's so divisive. It's not enjoyable, is it? Let's stay away from that topic. So if we do come across a story that is a little bit political, we try and just keep it to the facts, which is why I'm reporting that Saudi Arabia has executed 213 people so far in 2024. This is their record for a calendar year, and let me remind you, it's only October. The twist in the tale is that Saudi Arabia is trying to get on the Human Rights Council. No comment. Some stats is the largest record prior to this was 196 in 2022, and followed by 184 in 2019. Let me repeat, this year is 213. So we're up about 10% on the previous record. Under their Prime Minister, Mohammed bin Salman, between 21st of June 2017 and the 9th of October 2024, a total of 1,115 executions have taken place, many of them in public. What a depressing story. Political, no comment. let's move on to the final story, which is, of course, a lighter note. We always finish with a smile. So Nintendo is launching a epic new smart alarm clock. Who needs that? Probably nobody, but, you know, why not at this point? It does offer some pretty cool features, and it's called a motion detecting alarm clock that turns your morning routine into a real life video game. Watch the video at the end. It's pretty interesting. Here's one option: is you can get one of your favorite Nintendo game characters to cheer for you to get out of bed. So essentially, you stay in bed, they get more irritating until you get up, and they know you've got up because it's motion detecting. So, it's a Mario, get out of a bed. It's a Mario, get out of a bed. It's a Mario, it's a Mario, it's a Mario. That's my interpretation of how this would work, and I would definitely get out of bed, and I would probably have different opinions about Mario after that. Now, it's called the Alarmo. It's $100, and when you do finally get out of bed, not only does the noise and irritation stop, they cheer for you. Yeah. Oh, good job. Whatever they sound like. Now, it has some additional features which I think are cool. You can use it to create ambient sounds. So, if you work from home, as many people do, you can get it to create a nice working environment. Of course, a smart alarm clock would not be complete without sleep tracking abilities, and it can do that too. So, you can have Yoshi tell you how poorly you slept last night at the fear of being woken up by him. So you also have hand gestures. You can set a hand gesture to snooze, which I think is quite cool. I think there's a downside. You have to have a Nintendo Switch 2 and be a fully paid online member of their monthly subscription service. Now, I must remind you, this is not a paid ad. We've only got 350 something subscribers at this point, so no sponsors are coming to us quite yet. Nintendo, I'm open to the call if you see this. It's not a paid ad. We just thought it was really cool. And when there are funny innovations like the Xbox toaster that we talked about a couple of months ago, we're happy to talk about it. And that's all for this video. I'm Joseph, your presenter. This is Substream News. Thank you for coming back. I'm sorry that you don't have a beautiful surroundings to look at while I'm recording. Not on a cable car this week, as I was last video. Go watch that now. But I'll try next time, and I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.